Hello and welcome to episode 43 of Hiss and Tell, a cat behavior podcast, hosted by me, Christina Wilson, feline behaviorist. You might notice the intro music is a little bit different today. That's because today's guest is CatBeats, a cat-loving electronic musician whose work blends dreamy synths, purring cats, and a whole lot of feline philosophy. If you've listened to this podcast before, you've already heard his work. The track of his featuring my cat Steve Beat is what normally ushers the podcast in and out. But I thought I'd start us off today with a new track that you haven't heard before, off of his new charity record called All Cats Are Cute, that benefits Brooklyn Animal Action. We talk about a lot of different stuff in this episode. How cats shape creativity, the strange and wonderful ways that animals show up in our lives. We also get into grief, meditation with cats, DC punk history, squirrels, raccoons, and why being kind might be the most punk thing that you can do right now. I'm going to let this track play out for a little bit so you can get more familiar with CatBeats and then get ready for our conversation. See you on the podcast. Welcome to another episode of Hiss and Tell. I am your host, Christina Wilson, and with me today is CatBeats, a cat-oriented electronic musician. Welcome!
Hello.
Hello. And full disclosure, we went to high school together, so I've known this guy for 800 years, to not disclose how old we are, but officially 800 to 2,000 years. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And CatBeats also has generously provided the intro and outro music to this podcast since I started doing the podcast, so thank you for that. And
That's
for all...
right.
Yeah, so listeners hear your music with Steve's meow in it at the beginning and the end of every episode. And we do a little shout out to you at the end of every episode as well, thanking you
That's
for the
right.
music. So everyone should be familiar with you at this point. So do you want to tell everybody who you are, how CatBeats came into being, like what does it have to do with cats?
CatBeats started, I think it's 8 or 9 years ago. I was living in Los Angeles with my wife and 2 cats and a kid, and we moved back here to Sweden. And back then I thought the news cycle was quite a doozy. I guess it is nowadays too. So I had an idea to make some sort of kind of healing music. I guess it was more for me. Originally it was I had like a Lord of the Rings theme idea.
I can see that.
But then I just sat on the balcony with my cats, Totoro and Mazzy. We got Mazzy when we moved here. She's a part Norwegian. One of our cats, Fifi, passed away. We were in LA, so it was very sad. But sitting on the balcony with the 2 cats, and then, I don't know, the name CatBeats came into my mind because I'm like, okay, I'm kind of trying to like soothe my own anxieties by making music next to my cats on the balcony. And I was like, oh, CatBeats. I think the name, it was influenced by a Japanese electronic artist named Tofu Beats. I just like the name Tofu Beats, and then CatBeats popped into my head, and I thought of like Heartbeats too, and I was like, wow, how can nobody have that? So I jumped on it and did the first release, which was a digital single, which was an honor to the cat Fifi that passed away. So it was like the cover art was a box, a black cat, and then the new cat kind of popping out. So it's kind of the cycle of cats. I wouldn't say incarnations of cat universal energy continuing into the human life. But I found an artist online who did cat art, and I felt like I went to art school. I didn't finish, but I felt like he would draw things how I imagine I would draw things if I finished art school. So basically I sent him a sketch. I tried something and he like nailed it. It was like he had a direct link to my mind. I was like, wow, this is the guy. And so we did a couple things, and I did a cassette, the self-titled cassettes, like Forest with the 2 cats on a log. And in the log, there's kind of like a shadow, which is a representative of the ghost cats. And I feel like it just resonated. Somehow it like resonated. and I had a public that like sold out of a couple hundred tapes really fast. And then I was like, oh, for once in my music life, I'm on some sort of not a big zeitgeist, but kind of on the right timing. I feel like
Right.
before I was kind of a little before head of the time, as they say. And I just rolled with it. I was like, okay, so I'm making this music for myself, like as this healing music. And then other people want to enter this world. I didn't back then. I never showed myself in a video. I was very reluctant to reveal myself, but I like to say that I'm just the cats are the ones that run the show. I'm just the interpreter. So if I'm playing, they're the producers. I'm just like the Milli Vanilli. If anyone
You're the
remembers,
front.
I'm just the front, but they're running the show. But because originally I wanted it to be like gorillas. I just wanted this
Yeah.
cartoon cats all the time. But I was like, okay, well, I actually want to play live. Like I forgot I hadn't played live for 11 years. And former boss like pushed, like I was working at an electronic music company, kind of pushed me to play live. Like he just booked the show at this soup place. It was like
Mm.
a cafe and they do soup. And he was like, it's going to be called Sound Soup. What a great concept. So people ate soup and played music. And then that was it. And I was like, okay, I got to like represent my cats now as this
Was
human,
that in
as a
Sweden?
human. It was in Sweden.
Because that sounds very Scandinavian. It's like, oh, you come play a show at the soup place. There's always soup
Yeah.
happening. So that makes sense to
Yeah.
me.
It's cold. You need your soup. So then I accepted that. Okay. I realized I got so much out of playing live. I go out of playing live and I was reluctant for like, I think it was 11 or if not 14 years that hadn't played live before. So I was like, oh, it is a different part of your brain when you're performing. Okay. I think I want to continue this. So then I kind of broke the cartoon concept. But like I said, I'm just the front. The cats are running the show. Mazzy and Totoro. Totoro, which is an 18-year-old Scottish fold from Richmond, Virginia.
It's amazing.
Still kicking it.
What a journey. All the way
Yeah.
from Richmond to LA to
And
Sweden.
Sweden, yeah. And multiple, and we bounced a little
Yeah.
bit too. So she's experienced a lot. And then Mazzy, which is actually exactly 8, 9 years old, right when I started right when we got here. I think we got Mazzy like a week after. It was like, felt like a big hole was missing when Fifi was gone, because Totoro and Fifi, there's always kind of like two. But Totoro, I should note, is a straight-eared Scottish fold. Yeah. And it was funny when it was a cattery in Richmond, and they had a great website, and the cats had some crazy name like Windmere. It was like very like fantasy, like Windsormere. I don't know. And then like Totoro's mom was like very fluffy and like Scottish fold, and like, I want this little Totoro. And she was like, oh, this cat shows affection in a quiet and special way. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, okay, she was right. There's something a little like odd with this little cat. She's like an owl. She's just like kind of like stare, and they're like, oh, okay. And then like literally the first time she sat on my lap was a few days ago after 18 years not wanting to be a lap cat. I was like, wow, 18 years. Quiet and special way. But she's a magical cat. Like,
have they ever, your two cats, do they ever help you write the music? Like, do they step on the keyboards? Do they like meow when you record? Do they participate actually in you making CatBeats music?
they usually sleep around me and so create an atmosphere, but there's been definitely recorded meow. Have I recorded meows? Not so many meows, but definitely purrs. I'm like, I use rather expensive piece of recording equipment just to record their purrs.
Really?
Well, I'm like, yeah, but I was like, it's worth it. Like, I need to like document these different purrs.
Yeah.
And Totoro is very loud purring. Mazzy is kind of more inner, but then it's kind of evolving. So I've recorded her purrs enough that's like coming out more. And I had the purrs in the background of some songs, at the end of songs on the first record. I ended up crowdfunding all 3 of the full-length LPs, except the 4th one, on Bandcamp when they had their vinyl crowdfund. I think it was Corona, so it was like, this is also when we kind of started talking again.
Yeah.
But I had a lock groove on the vinyl, so Totoro's purring, and then the needle just bounces back, so it's just an infinite purr.
That's so nice.
So I think all animals you have this, but cats are strange because they're kind of like very autonomous, and you have to, they give you consent. There's a different thing happening with them. And I feel like with them, and like you kind of can get into you have to work harder to get in this like intimate space with them. And
It's
then
true.
maybe it's that because you have to work at it, you kind of are aware of it. It's almost like I don't say a meditative practice, but maybe where a dog will be happy and then you kind of you're in that space, but you're actively trying to break this barrier with this cat and then you're kind of with it. And I'll meditate with my cat, just like close my eyes and like try and connect to the cat. Now we're getting a little wacky on this on the show, but I
It's
gotta say,
okay.
like I feel like animals are so close to like the source, a source energy, whatever that is, because it's instinct. There's a
Yeah.
whole different reality happening. And, like, I don't think they think about death like, I don't think animals think about death like humans do. They're like, "Oh, that's weird." I don't maybe you can tell me about
Well,
like, family cats passing, but I feel like there's a
yeah.
little more like, it's just part of the cycle, and they're just like, "Huh, this is intense," but then it's, like, maybe not as intense as for humans, like, the separation of it.
I think
Going deep on Hiss and Tell.
no, it's I've had many episodes on grief, because of Steve's passing, and talked to all different kinds of experts about grief and death. So that's not uncharted territory for this podcast. Maybe surprising for people just tuning in for a cat musician and being like, "Where's this going?" But it's totally fine. We can noodle around and talk about whatever we that. I do think that it's difficult in a science perspective or behavior perspective to say like cats don't understand this or cats do behave this way. The only thing I can say is that anecdotally, when Steve passed, and he was the head of our household, it is over 2 years now since he passed, and our cats are just now climbing out of that grief.
Mm,
Just now. And they very much knew that he was sick. He had cancer. They could smell it. They knew that something was wrong. They really rallied around him and comforted him and slept with their arms around him and really cared for him. And then they obviously knew when he passed. He passed here at home. And it has taken a very long time, and in some cases, medication to help, especially the cats who were closest with him, like his lady friend Pam, and then Kevin and Kitten Man, his two best guy friends. It has taken a really long time because they've just been lost in the sauce. They
and so
cannot get over this grief. So I understand what you're saying in some way, but I do think that animals absolutely grieve. They absolutely really can struggle with grief and loss and death in the same way that people can. And then I think we as humans often disenfranchise animal grief because they may not process it and it's not visible to us in the same way that our grief is visible.
mm,
Right? So I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
totally get what you're saying, but because they don't behave in the same ways that we do, we may not notice it and we just think like, "Oh, they totally get it and it's normal to them and like whatever, like they're fine." But in fact, I think they're often not fine.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because I know, like, I remember when my father passed away, the all the animals kind of were lined up in a line when he was taken out of the house, and it was very intense. And there's actually this is crazy because a street Romanian street cat decided to just join the house and be a part of the family, kind of just for this like last 2 years of his life. A ruffian of a cat, but real sweet, and also kind of came in at the right time because he'd be like injured or like being covered in like thorns or whatever, and he kind
Uh-huh.
of forced my family to like to take care of him. But having that other focus when there's like a sick person, like was
Yeah.
actually great. Because it's like,
Mhm.
oh, this is ridiculous. There's a wound he has in his stomach, and like he's out of his mind. But I love that. I love that cat. He sensed something. And he like moved in, and then like did he move? I mean, I think his moving out was also timely too. I have a very strong memory of like of this cat and like in this time at my with my family.
I mean, that kind of stuff makes sense to me. I've always said to clients and to my wife and to my friends that, like, I think the animals that you need in your life find you
Yeah.
and they find you at the right time, even if you think it's not the right time. I've never gone out looking for a cat, yet somehow we have 15 cats. But regardless, right after Steve had passed, and then my other best friend cat, Mimi, passed shortly after that. And it was just being overwhelmed with grief. Several cats that needed help kind of arrived here, and I was not in a space where I thought like I can deal with this, but it ended up, like you said, being a good thing because it helped. Caring for others is often a helpful way to get out of your own depression and stress. So it was helpful to help these kittens who were very, very sick. It was, if people follow Steve's account, it was Tubbs and Mama and Elvie who were all incredibly sick. And it was so much work to deal with them, but it really did help. And now they all joined the family, they live with us, and they were such a blessing. But at the time, I was just like, oh my gosh, like I can't handle this. But it ended up being a very good thing that they showed up here and needed help, because it kind of helped bring me out of that
That's good.
funk to an extent. So, and the same thing with Butters. Like Butters showed up and was just like the best, most loving, amazing guy. So
Butters.
Butters,
But Steve B, he filled such a huge gap. So I mean, I guess I understand like the 2 year thing, but Steve B was
yeah,
almost, I don't know, I don't want to say mutant cat, but like kind of like a very I would say that cat
yeah,
took up more space than a
he
regular
did.
cat.
He wasn't, I still think, like, he was genius, and I don't say that just because he was my best friend. He was the kind of animal that I have never met, like, another like him, where even people who just met him for the first time were like, "Whoa, what's up with this guy? He's not a cat. It's like a person in a cat's body," because he was so bright and alert and clearly communicating with you and just very, very hyper present. And it really felt like he was, some kind of other presence in a cat's body, and just so, so smart. So there will never be another Steve.
But I think that's I don't know if your experience, like the 2 years of the other animals getting over, I don't know. I wonder if your situation is maybe a more unique one because of the space, the role of Steve B with the other animals, or
I mean, it was helpful. I will never be over him passing or him not being in my life.
yeah, yeah,
He
of course not.
Yeah, he was my soulmate, but it certainly helped me to not continue to be in the bed crying and, like,
Yeah, yeah.
wanting to be dead, So there, it gave me some sense of purpose to, like, want to help others. So that was helpful, and it was helpful in that regard. Anyway,
Nah, it's like I don't know, cat spirituality. It's all good. And someone posted like a little cat meme, and it said, "Mega, look, treat your pet like a visiting noble from another realm." I was like, yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
That's what it is.
I think all of us do, probably. Everyone who has a cat probably does treat them like that, or at least I hope they do.
Yeah, I think those memes are that one meme of a cat, like they show a cat kind of looking around. They played like ancient Egyptian music. It's like it feels. It's like that's totally
Yes.
fake. I'm like, no, 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 no. I mean, they figured out like the whole sand thing.
Hmm?
Is that cats covering their poop in the sand? That's pretty. I don't know if that's Egypt, but just like that's a great skill they have.
Well, I mean, they'll use any substrate. They like dirt too. Cats love dirt. Doesn't
Yeah,
have
but
to be sand.
they can take care of it in a box at a house where a
Oh,
dog
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
dog
yeah.
is that's not happening. But
Yeah.
there's that jazz musician that made a book how to toilet train your cat. Was
Yes.
it Charles Ming? Who was it? Sonny
Was
Rollins
it
or someone
Charlie
like that?
Mingus? People do that, and I do not recommend it, because, I mean, you can train your cat to do anything. Cats are highly trainable, and you can clicker train them in just the same way that you do dogs, and they're highly trainable. They love training, especially super smart cats love it. But the toilet thing is not good for your cats, because they like to scratch, they want to dig.
Mm.
And then as they get older, if they're arthritic, they're not going to be able to do that anymore. And they also can fall in the toilet. And then also, they can't flush the toilet. So do you want guests to come over and there's like a poo in your toilet and they think that you don't flush? That's gross. Like,
I think he taught
just
the cat to flush, but I just like the idea that some random jazz guy like came like like wrote the book about. It's like, what, really? Why?
to me, it seems very much like something a random jazz guy would come up with while he was a little bit on the sauce, and just
Mm,
like, I wonder if a cat could do this. But
yeah.
I personally, as a behavior person, do not recommend that people actually potty train their cats. It's not good for them. So
Yeah, yeah, makes it
just,
make. I mean, it's breaking their like the yeah. My cat has Totoro has arthritis, so yeah,
yeah,
there'd be no way she could even.
yeah.
It'd be
Most
quite the struggle.
cats over 6 have some form of arthritis. What was I
But
going to ask
we
you?
kind of we took a tangent about cat spirituality,
I
but
know.
yeah, Corona is when we started talking again, and that's how
Oh,
we
yeah.
did we reconnected.
Yes. And you got some of Stevie's meows to use on a song.
Yeah, we did a 7-inch single for
Mm-hmm.
Steve B called Birds.
Yeah.
using the sample. That was just a crazy idea. We're like, oh, you're into cats now too. Whoa, this is crazy. Let's do a collab thing. And so we put that together.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, more cat, it's like more cat things kind of come out of the woodwork. So then vinyl manufacturing plant adopted 2 cats that kill the rats in their warehouse, furnace manufacturing, and Tibby and Slippy. They saw I think specifically that 7-inch come through, and they had the idea, oh, we need to do a cat. Let's do some like animal benefit thing because we're all into our cats and like CatBeats and cats, and then. Yeah, then this release happened, All Cats Are Cute, which you connected me to Brooklyn Animal Action to be the people that will get the charity fund. So the whole thing is a nonprofit thing, which is really nice. So everyone donated, the pressing plant and the printer and everyone. So
that's awesome.
It feels good to give some money to the cats, to the other creatures of the world.
Yeah. How can people purchase that if they want to be a part of this cycle?
Wow.
Where do they go?
It's actually the widest distributed record yet. You can actually get it Barnes and Nobles, H&M, everywhere. Target. There's a link, a store link on my Instagram. I could send it to you as well.
Yeah,
and
send it to me and I'll put it in the show notes.
On Bandcamp as well, direct, which I guess that one would give more of the money directly to Brooklyn Animal Action because there wouldn't be a distribution cut. But for I think it's nice that is Org Music that partnered with that part, that it's getting pushed out there, because then it's raising awareness about Brooklyn Animal Action, like having people think about animals when they're browsing vinyl at Barnes and Nobles or like Target. That's kind of, I don't know. I think it's super cool and interesting. So yeah, so it is everywhere.
That's awesome. I did not know that, and I love to hear it.
I just found out a few weeks ago. I was like, whoa, all these places? They sent me a list. So
that's crazy.
They're very proactive. So All Cats Are Cute. So my artist buddy, he actually just came up with the name. He did a random drawing that said All Cats Are Cute with a cat on it, one cat. And I was like, this is a great concept. Can I name a whole thing, the whole record, All Cats Are Cute? He's like, yeah, go for it. So this is what it became.
So cute. And they are all cute.
And there's not all cats in here. See, there's rats.
Yeah.
And there's dogs. So that's kind of the whole thing I'm saying. It's like, we're not just, all of us are cats, right? We're all cute. So then you could take it out. You see all the people on the bus, Steve B. Right there. My cats. And then there's Ronnie. You know this?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know you put Shirani in there.
Yes, Shirani.
That is so cute.
Yes. So yeah, and there's a bunch of dogs in here, and the rats are in here. They don't want to get eaten, I guess.
Gotta love the rats from the rat hole.
But I mean, it's
so
kind of
cute.
I would say it's a diversity statement.
Yes.
That's what's happening. And the back has an area to put your own cat picture in there, this size, and then you can have your own cat there. And then this is the original art he did for this All Cats Are Cute thing. It was just that round kind of sticker idea. And then this blue is based off one of the CEO of Furnace Manufacturing, her cat Thor. Or Loki.
That's a good cat name.
One of them. But that's based off the
cats.
eyes. It's the eyes of that specific cat. This color.
That's so cool.
So a lot of lore in this one.
Yeah, I love that. That actually leads me into wanting to talk about the record label. Because is this still on the record label that you normally are on?
Yeah,
right?
Swedish Columbia, which is something I started back in DC. Yeah.
But aren't you distributed through
Discord handles all my stuff,
which I think is so funny. So I just love the evolution of former punk musician still distroing through Discord, but now recording essentially cat music. It's Ian's
seeing the records come through. He's like, "What the hell is this?" He's like, but then Brian's the manager at Discord. He's like, "Oh, it's Shelby's thing." It's like, we make money off these. He's like, whatever. That's crazy. Okay, cool, whatever. It's like. So that's Discord record.
Funny, I love it.
Steve B, 7 inches, and All cats are cute. I guess for the listeners out there, it's like a quintessential he's punk label
Yeah.
that put out some seminal DC hardcore bands.
Yes.
And yeah, they're still around doing a lot of catalog stuff and some new releases, but they also distribute and handle the mail order for all CatBeats direct sales. So it's kind of a funny thing in a way.
I think it is very funny. It is so funny, just especially also imagining, like, thinking back to who we both were in high school, like a punk dude and a goth lady, and then now we're both just cat people, just doing cute cat stuff. I just think it's very funny. The
Yeah, but I have this new
Discord thing.
I have a theory that like I was, like people ask, I played in a punk band before and I was
Yeah.
screaming and playing guitar, throwing myself around. I'm like, doing this is much more punk now because it's like it's just being nice and it's
Mhm.
everyone is screaming. I was like, everyone's screaming on the internet. I don't need to do that. But like this is shocking. Like this
Yes.
artwork is so in your face, like cute. I mean, I love Japanese kawaii stuff and all that, but it's like
I agree.
it's slapping you in the face. So I think this is the same effect as watching a guy scream on a microphone in the 90s or even early 2000s. Like, whoa, what's going on there? But
Yeah.
in this modern times, it's like, whoa, this exists. Like, ugh, what's
I
going on?
absolutely agree because I don't think, like, screaming into a microphone or even if you wanna talk about, like, Einstürzende Neubauten, like, setting like, miking fire would not be shocking anymore. But I do think, like, being nice and kind and listening to cute cats meow and then releasing it, like, having it distributed by Discord is very shocking and cute and funny and nice, and I love it. So,
Yeah, and I
I
mean,
just
I don't think Ian has cats, but other band members of he's with have cats, and
yeah.
they're all kind people. In the end,
Yeah.
like the I guess DC punk was specific as it kind of became as the West Coast became more violent, like Henry Rollins moving out
Yeah.
there, and like LA punk scene, and DC was violent, but it was kind of pushed it to be like more inclusive. So like Ian telling the crowd to kind of like chill out and like stopping people from fighting and like letting women come up front, like be in the front, not
Yeah.
be in the back. Like he was always about like an inclusiveness. I think DC punk kind of nurtured that. So it only makes sense that this comes from
Yeah.
in some way DC punk and it's like connected somehow.
I agree, and I always found it to be very welcoming and nice. I went to a lot of the, like, house parties and, like, art stuff at, like, the, punk art houses and whatever, and, like, it was always very friendly and nice, and I don't know. I never found it to not be inclusive or welcoming.
Yeah. I think maybe DC is unique also because it never had like a industry like New York or
Yeah.
Los Angeles or even Chicago to some extent. It was a little more homegrown in a way. Like you can't really be famous. Like I guess some bands tried to be famous. Like at that time, I guess Foo Fighters aren't from. I guess Dave Grohl is from DC, but
He went to our high school, which is so weird and funny.
it's funny. But I guess DC isn't the city where you go to kind of make it big. It was like other cities, so I think
No.
it kind of nurtured more of like a community thing.
Yeah,
In
that's
whatever ways.
true.
And I think DC is just weird because most people aren't like people who grew up there have a certain they're kind of always there and then there's like the government's always changing every 4 years. So it's
Yeah.
like if you grow up there you have a different you kind of have your own little scene.
So, can you tell me a little bit about how cats have changed your relationship with music? How the rhythm of your life has changed, or like the kind of projects that you're doing? If you're doing projects outside of Cat Beats, how has any of that changed?
I think the idea of cats being in the present all the time made me not overthink the music as much to kind of like be more jazz about it. Like, okay, create this thing, just kind of like let things go opposed to other art where you're chiseling away and like
Right.
trying to revise it and fix it. I'm like, okay, this is just about being in the moment, being present and like capturing a feeling. So it's
Yeah.
almost less, it doesn't have to be necessarily as formulaic as like verse, chorus, it's all instrumental anyway, but it could be more like thematic. I don't know, maybe that's how cats dream.
Who can say?
I do wonder my cats dream about. I think they twitch and stuff sometimes. So I know there's
Yeah.
some running things, but
Yes.
I wonder. I wonder. I'd love to see it. Is it just like colors, or is it like how different is it from ours, or is it the kind of same? Like
Yeah.
a bit of processing, a bit of weirdness. Like I don't know. there's these records like music for your cat, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know if cats want sounds like that. I've always been again
So
not into change, like just keeping things natural, not trying to like we're leaving the house now. We're gonna put on this like cat
well
record and
that
just
that
let them chill.
that's a little strange, but
Yeah.
I will say there is a scientist named I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's like Teie, David T or something. He's a scientist who's also a musician. And he has written several albums for cats, and it's called like Music for Cats, right? And in the music you can hear some purrs, you can hear clicks that sound like heartbeat sounds and things that are soothing. And there have been actually peer-reviewed studies to see, is this music, does it have a calming effect on cats in shelters? And it was found, I believe, with statistical significance to have a calming effect on cats. And we used it when I was doing my master's thesis in NYCACC, which is the city's open intake shelter. It was played regularly for dogs and cats and was seen to have like a calming effect on them. We have used it in our house when trying to just like chill cats out, or definitely when we drive them to the vet. We just put it on. Does it super work for that? I don't know. I did once try using it when I had to do transport for a bunch of baby raccoons that were going from New York to a wildlife rehabilitator. Didn't work on the raccoons. The raccoons did not care about music for cats. But
Yeah.
I do think that it has had some effect on cats. It's just like very chill. It sounds like classical music with just like some associated little cat sounds in it.
But it's probably
So,
the cat sounds that are resonating for the cats,
right,
not the other stuff. The other
exactly.
stuff's for the humans.
Yes, I do think it's that, but I think it's interesting, and at least it has been studied enough where there's certainly no harm in it in streaming it for your cats, especially if they're having like a high strung moment. I will say, whenever we have put it on, like my wife and I both fall asleep because it is so relaxing. It's just like classical music that you don't really have to pay attention to.
Yeah, but cat purrs anywhere have a frequency that's soothing for humans as well,
Mm,
right?
yes.
Yeah, raccoons like thrash metal, I'm pretty sure.
I would do it.
They want to rip up some dumpsters and just go wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you've seen my whole squirrel thing on the
Uh-huh.
side. I often have mindful forest moments with squirrels.
Yeah.
Sometimes playing music, just not just feeding them and hanging out. And there's obviously birds around there because there's a bird feeder. I have some good communal moments with those woodland creatures,
That's
squirrels,
nice.
other birds, and
Yeah.
crows.
Well, so talking about how your music is, do you think that cats have influenced kind of how you think about patience and being mindful and creativity and all of that?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I will literally meditate holding my hand on my cat and just tuning into the purring, like trying to feel the connection, be in the now. Sounds crazy, even send my own
No, I do that too.
sound
I do it too.
my own life force so my kitty lives longer. I'm like just like you could take a little bit from me and just like I stick around, hang out, like whatever. We got each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, feel a strong connection to my cats. Like all cats when I meet, like it's like wow, animal, like cat, like there's
There is. There is. It's funny. They really I've noticed at least our guys like really love, I think all the cats I've ever had really love it when you do anything mindful, like especially yoga or just like sitting on the ground and doing any kind of meditation. Immediately if that vibe changes in you, they're like, "Oh, what are you doing? I got to come be all up on you." Really into that kind of like mindfulness
but they say cats suck
vibes.
up a lot of emotional energy. And all animals do. But I remember our Mazzy when we had our second kid. I feel like the kid screaming and like the changes and like just the energy change. Like she was very stressed. She had to
Mm,
get on urinary stress
yeah.
me food because of that. Now she's kind of figured it out and got over it. But we had visitors recently with a baby, and she was just like, "What's this again?" Oh, like we're like almost wanting to help the situation. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't run; she goes right into it. Like, what's going on? What do I do? Oh,
Well, I think that makes sense. I mean, also cats, their hearing is amazing. It's got to be a lot harder for them to process that because their hearing is so much better. So they've got to be hearing stuff that even we're not hearing. And that's got to be tough for them. But I think then also, like with cats, when they have their own kids, like if the kittens are crying, there's distress. They need to eat, they need to eat. Something's going on. So like she's probably just like, I got to help. you know, because kitten, there's something's wrong. Like, I gotta help.
Is it true that cats, saw this in passing, cats meows or they attempt to mimic human children or something? Someone said something like that.
No.
Or a certain meow.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. Cats don't meow to each other. They'll like growl and hiss at each other if they're gonna fight, or they'll like do that yowl thing if they're in a
Yeah.
fight. They only meow at each other generally is like a mom to her kittens, right? Or kittens to the mom. But they don't really vocalize towards each other very much. So they meow to us because the thinking is, again, we don't know. The thinking is that cats meow with us because they hear us talking all the time. And so they've processed that and realized, oh, these people make sounds to each other. I need to make sounds to the people because that's how they're communicating, right? So if I want attention, that's what I'm going to need to do. But I don't think that there is a additional level of processing about like, well, children sound this way. We already, as humans, have a preference for the kind of animals that look like our children, that have big eyes and a smaller rest of the face. So that's why we have a preference for puppies and kittens and cats and animals like that have large eyes, especially like, you know, how things are drawn in like Japanese animation, everything with big eyes. So I don't know that we would need cats to go an extra mile and sound like kids because they're already kind of born, like we've already selected that preference. That
Yeah,
makes
wow. Now you had
sense.
me thinking, am I just liking these animals because they look like humanoids? I was looking at a slow loris video recently,
Hmm.
a
Yeah,
baby
it's
slow
another one.
loris, and I was like, look at that thing.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's not you that's doing that selecting. It's
but
your like
squirrels,
lizard brain. Yeah.
but squirrels have their eyes like,
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
I feel the squirrel.
I love squirrels too. I mean, I love all animals. The only animal I have a
Yeah.
hard time with is a baboon, and I also have a hard time with roaches. But I've tried really hard with both of those to get over that. But
Yeah,
just as,
roaches are pretty freaky. They don't exist in Sweden here that
yeah,
I've
we don't
ever
have them
seen.
here now, but
Yeah,
in New York,
yeah, seen some big ones in Virginia as well.
yeah, that was. I even like went to a science museum where you could hold a hissing cockroach to just try to be like, this is just a little guy, and he's just trying to get ahead, and like, there's nothing gross. The roaches are actually very clean. But there's something because they're so prehistoric. I think that's my problem is there's just something they don't fit in our like current landscape. They're just so from, you know, before dinosaurs, but they're still here. And it just seems wrong. I don't know if that's why I'm just like, whoa, but I feel terrible. I shouldn't be disgusted by them. There's
Now
nothing wrong with them.
I have
But
an issue with them too. I think it's
yeah,
the speed. I'm okay with cicadas. I like
I
cicadas
love
because they're just chill.
cicadas. Same. I
It's
love
just
cicadas.
roaches have like
I know.
this it's like the
No,
movement. If it were slow, I might be okay with it. Be like, oh, that's weird, like a
I don't
cicada.
know.
But it's like the speed. But
And there's
I mean,
something
it's
with the
not.
antennas too that's too much. It's just so I've tried so hard and I feel so it's not like I would never like kill one. I would always just like catch them and put them outside, but I was just feel bad to have just this like discriminatory for no reason.
Yeah, I guess they're pretty alien. Like they're
They're very alien.
swarms.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're more like and just like hive. I don't know if they have a hive mind, but it's just like yeah.
Yeah. But I don't have a problem with like alligators or birds, and they all are super old as well. I don't know. It's not rational.
I feel bad about pigeons. Some people aren't very nice to
I
pigeons.
know, and pigeons are the best, and it's not their fault that like they were domestic birds, and then we just stopped using them to carry messages and just let them go. And now
Yeah,
for some reason people hate pigeons, and they're so nice and smart. And we had a bunch of them that lived in a tree in our yard in the city, and we fed them, and they were the nicest little funny people. And they all got to know us, and like it got to the point where I could pat them, and they'd come like sit on my arm, and I really missed them. They were my little buddies.
yeah. You never see pigeon. I guess you saw pigeon babies, but
Yeah, I did because they would roost on our balcony, so I did see pigeon babies. But
I
the
don't think
I
I've ever seen a pigeon baby in the
yeah
wild. Like which is kind of started to like joke
yeah
conspiratorial in my mind. It's like, where do they come from? They just
yeah
exist. I've
they
never
just
seen.
spawn. Yep, it would bloop, pop into this dimension. No, I've definitely seen pigeon babies, but they've got really good moms who just like make their nests in like the weirdest, craziest like cracks in between buildings and the craziest spaces so that you don't see them until they're fully grown. Like
That's
they
amazing.
stay in the nest until they're almost fully grown. So
Pigeon
they're
babies.
so cool. I miss our pigeons.
I'm not going to ask specifically about cheetahs, but you made me think of caracals. You know, those like
Mm-hmm.
some people have there's like a famous YouTube that seems really
Yeah,
crazy and
it is
scary.
crazy.
Like, why
People,
would you have like that? Does not look like a chill animal that wants to like be on your couch.
no, people who have those, who have servals, who have any of these kinds of, even Bengals, it's not great. Like an African wild cat, even if it's domesticated or like several generations bred, it does not want to live in your house. It does not want to sit on your couch. It wants to be outside running like 10 to 12 hours a day. Like it's so irresponsible. I don't know where they're finding vets to treat these animals because most vets don't want to treat, like, it's mostly people who think that they live in a rap video 24/7. They just think that they're so cool that they have these animals on leashes, and it's really not a good, it's not good welfare for them,
But it looks
for the cat.
extremely dangerous. Those
Yeah,
cats
of
don't look
course it
like
is.
those teeth are so thick, and you're just like,
I've been hospitalized for cat bites from domestic cats. I've had to be in the hospital on an IV drip because they
no.
can fuck you up. And that the thing that really upsets me is when, not if, but when that cat does do something on instinct, right? Because if you move too much like prey in your house, their lizard brain part of their brain is going to be activated and they're going to just turn and try to get you because that's what their prey drive tells them to do. The cat is going to be in trouble, not you. And then the cat's going to get euthanized. And that's not fair.
Yeah. It's like my feet at night when Mazzy attacks my feet. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Painful.
You can stop that, by the way.
How do I stop that?
It takes about 2 weeks and it sucks, but all of our cats have been trained out of that and been trained to never, ever, ever wake us up because I can't stand that. So it takes about 2 weeks. And anytime that she does anything with your feet in the bed, you act like she doesn't exist. You cannot open your eyes. You can't say anything. You can't move. You can't do anything to give her any attention.
She has her claws in you. You can't be like,
Yeah.
ow. You have to be like,
Right. Yeah. Because what she's really trying to do is get your attention. And so if you
mm.
give her any attention, you're giving now this feedback loop that says she gets what she wants, right? She comes in the bed, she fucks with your feet. You wake up or you say ow, that gives her attention. Even if to you that attention is being perceived as bad, to cats, there's no such thing because she's getting her reward, which is your attention. So then this is just creating this perfect feedback loop where she's never going to stop. So it takes about 2 weeks and it sucks. Like, I'm going to be real with you. It sucks to do this, but then she'll never, ever do it again. That if for that 2 weeks you wear thick socks, you wear slippers to bed, whatever you have to do, you put like 85 blankets on the bed so she can't actually get her claws to your feet. And then whenever she does it, nothing out of you. You don't turn, you don't open an eye, right? And she'll probably escalate. It's called an extinction burst. That before,
Oh, yeah, I've heard
right?
about that.
Yeah, she'll get worse right before she stops. So you might have to clear surfaces in your bedroom because she might start trying to knock stuff over to get your attention. You can't respond to any of it. Then once she stops, she will never do it again.
That's fine. And Mazzy she's a mutant. She has 6 toes.
She's
And then
Hemingway. Yeah.
And then so it's like their big paws.
Yeah.
Like, the Norwegian cat. And her rear feet are reversed. So the left foot is on the right and the right's on the left. In Sweden, they call those with the 6 toes skepparkatt. They lived on ships. And the myth is they had the extra toe so they can like
hold on
That's
to funny.
The ship. But this Mazzy, she grew up on a farm with horses and dogs. When we first got her, she was growling if she heard someone at the door. Just
That's hilarious.
I was like, what? And then she stopped when she got a little older. But I was like, she learned that from a dog? Like, that's very weird. Literally growling like, and she'd steal my kids'
That's
waffles.
funny. We have a few food stealers.
She got over that too. But I miss her growling though. That was cute. Cat growl. That's wild.
Oh.
Cat life.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to tell listeners about your projects or how they can find you or anything else you have coming out or anything else about CatBeats?
Yeah, well, I think people just need to like dig in, check out the different feels. This specific album is a mixture of kind of more upbeat, like a funk party album meets like the chill cat tracks. So, so it's a mix of like higher energy things to mysterious tracks to kind of typical CatBeats, like chill tracks, but it's very thematic. Song titles such as All Cats Are Cute, Snacks, Meow Town, Alley Cats, Moonly. catnip, churu, rat rendezvous, treat, naps. So there's like rat. There's that specific track. It feels like a rendezvous, but so I would say this is kind of a mixture where the other records are more just the relaxing cat music. But I guess I'm exploring both worlds, like the little higher energy things with this one, and then like the relaxed things. But I kind of discovered a Japanese or Asian. There's a genre of books, healing fiction, isekai, I believe is the term, and it's a big in Korea and Japan, and they're what you'd think would be healing fiction, kind of like
Right.
slice of life. There's some like probably relationship problems or whatever. It's just like, but it's like whatever. Someone who owns a bookstore, she's changing her life running a bookstore and kind of things she's uncovering, but nothing like super dark. Sometimes it's dark. There's a book, Blanket Cats, where this person rents out cats, but they must have their blanket with them to people that need them, and they'll kind of uncover these kind of intense, like traumatic moments. Like the blanket cat would be like with someone who like lost a parent or been abused in some way, and then or like dying. But it's amazing. It's really amazing, this one. So I wouldn't say that's like a chill healing fiction, but I got into the genre, and like there's a lot of cat books out there. But this one, I brought it. She and Her Cat. It's by a guy who usually does animes, Koto Shinkai, and he wrote it. I felt like it was the best animal. Actually, it actually has some drawings. I don't know if he drew it. It's one of the best animal books I've ever read, as in the perspective of an animal and relating it to humans. I guess that's why I thought about that. There's that one line. There's one line. I guess it's a bit of a spoiler, but there's the animals talk to each other, the cats and the dogs, and the dog's like, oh, gonna pass away. And he's like, oh, I'm an old dog. I'm ready to go on. And he's like, I'm not worried about going. I'm more worried about like my owner. Like that's kind of like the dog's thought. And like, then that cat like ends up, his friends with the dog, kind of helping the owner or whatever. But I think he really nailed the animal narrative out of any animal book I've read, like kind of like the loving to the like humans that they're with, and like kind of their perception of and exploring, and the way they're meeting these other animals, and how the animals are talking about life and kind of being instinctual but also aware, and kind of like cycle of life. I don't know. I thought it was great. I'd be very curious to what
I
you
will
would
see
think.
if I can. I'll have to check it out.
I don't know if you're reading much these
That's all I
days.
do. That is my only hobby. Except the books that I read are like, I was talking with my wife the other night, and I think I'm turning into like a middle-aged dad, because the books I read are all about like ships that sink and, World War
Oh,
II
that's very middle-aged, Dad.
Vikings, and like just they're all like nonfiction about like dad subjects. It's just like looking at my book pile and being like, what's happening here? I really traffic only in what I call upsetting books. Like I only read stuff about wars and medical problems and catastrophes and just awful. I just read a whole book about narco trafficking in the 70s and in Colombia, and Escobar, and it's like, that's all I read now. I've just turned into somebody's dad.
But it's like you're doom scrolling books?
Yes, that's 100% what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly it. Yes.
Mr. CatBeats here prescribes you to listen to chill music and read Asian cozy fiction.
Okay.
At least sometimes.
That's fair. Give me a list.
That was my little tangent. But
okay.
Yeah, I think you got an idea of what CatBeats is all about, and I'll keep on doing my cat music, and I want the cat charity record to do well, so get a bunch of money for Brooklyn Animal Action, which you connected me to them, and you thought they were right on.
They are. They're an amazing.
And I just trusted
group.
you, and we did it, and they said sure thing.
Yeah.
And I want to know why for the publicly, why they were right on for you, why you said Brooklyn Animal Action for this record.
Because I have personal experience with them. They were one of the rescues that I worked with a lot when I was still living in the city and doing a lot of rescue work. They support a lot of other rescuers doing rescue work. They have amazing resources. They do a ton of work themselves, not only supporting other rescuers, but supporting like a zillion cats, feeding ferals, doing TNR, helping other rescue groups. Our friend Susa works with them and is amazing. And it's all run by this one person, Claire, who is great and who's really tapped in her community and also needs all the help and support. I think a lot of times people in rescue kind of go over and above for cats, but then they don't have any help themselves. And so I think it's really important to make sure that we kind of help the people who are helping cats. And so when you asked me, that's like the first person that popped in my head because she's been doing this for so long, just kind of like under her own steam and power. And I think that she really is deserving of any little bit that can be given back to her because she pours everything she has into helping community cats.
How long she been doing this?
20, 30
Whoa.
years, like a
Okay.
long time, a long time to be very well known, and to have like a fully formed see and to have done everything the right way. So yeah,
That's
fully,
cool.
fully support her and her organization. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I trusted you there, and then the manufacturing company that did the record reached out, and
Mm.
the Brooklyn one seemed to resonate. Like, kinda, I don't know, they went with that.
Yeah.
Listen, I guess they listen to the Steve B. Mama, Steve B. Human. They
Well,
know.
I don't necessarily know anything more than anybody else about what rescue is more or less deserving. There's so many people who are in need of help with the help that they're giving. All I can say is that I know Claire, I know that rescue, I know that they really helped me. They educated me when I was starting my journey in doing animal rescue and were very helpful with me and still are. And so I absolutely thought of them immediately as to who would be deserving of any help from this end.
Yeah, actually, someone reached out before even this record. They do a cat vinyl themed pop up
Hmm.
in, I think, Austin, Texas, and those will show up at record or do different events where they sell cat themed records. I think
Huh.
amongst other records, but they kind of showcase cat things, and the proceeds go to cat rescue out
That's
there. So
cool.
yeah, the cat stuff comes out of the, I don't want to say woodwork. That term kind of is about
Well,
mice, right? Things
yeah,
coming out of the woodwork.
yeah.
Well, yeah, the cat people come from the sky.
They do. I mean, once you're plugged into the world, then it kind of populates itself, I feel like. The connections spawn more.
There's another last thought.
Mhm.
So I actually have 2 songs talking about cat cafes. I've actually never been to a cat cafe, and in my
Oh.
mind, a cat cafe is literally a cafe run by cats.
Uh, wouldn't that be great?
'Cause so the artwork is like cats
Mm.
serving cats. But, yeah, I should go to a cat cafe
You
like we did
should. I'm
cafe.
sure they have some in
Yeah, there is
Sweden.
one in Sweden, but I think they don't allow children under a certain age on it.
That's a good idea.
So, I wanna wait.
Yeah.
So the little ones of the age where she can be with the cats and be chill. But I heard a
Yeah.
lot of those animal cafes are very bad in like Japan and whatnot.
Yes, you don't wanna go to the ones in Japan because they're not very ethical. Or,
Yeah.
like, really do your due diligence before doing that. Generally, cat cafes, I mean, all you should always do your due diligence before doing any kind of animal interaction activity, because a lot of times things that seem fine are not fine, and sometimes the reverse. But a lot of most cat cafes, in fact, I think one of my first podcasts was with a really amazing cat cafe in the city that I used to go to all the time called Koneko. And they have adopted out so many cats since they opened. They're amazing. And you walk in there and it doesn't smell at all. It's such an amazing place. So some of them are really great.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Yeah, go check it out.
break out of my idea that
Yeah.
cat cafes are cats serving other cats.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. Is there anything else you want to touch on as we wrap up?
I just want you to pick up the closest cat related object you have and just show me. Wow,
It's a little tin
I like that.
with a cat, and then well, I also I mean, this is my desk, so I have 1,000,000 cat things. I have the latest issue of Feline Practitioner.
Ooh, look at that photo.
He's
That's
having
nice.
a real think. Yeah, and then I always have to print out all the research that I read because I'm an old person and I can't just read things online, so I have some, peer-reviewed articles that I've highlighted and written all over about what's this one? Long-term clinical response to medical treatment, behavioral therapy, and their combination in cats with hyperesthesia syndrome. So, yeah,
Nice.
That's my desk. And then I also just have like a lot of crystals and little prisms and guys all over my desk.
Nice.
Yeah, that's that. That's my stuff. And weirdly, there's no cats in here right now. I don't know. No.
I got my phone case
Cute. That's a good cat.
and a camera case.
Ooh, that is so cute. Cat
That's
strawberry.
Mofu-san, a Japanese
Oh,
character that people like in the book
very
I showed
cute.
you.
Yeah.
And probably something. Oh, this is what I want to do. Last thing, I want to unbox this toy
Okay.
live and we'll see what it is.
All right.
I think I've had this cat thing object, I think for like 9 years, actually. I think I bought it a very long time ago. And I was like, oh, maybe I just found it. Maybe I should unbox it live. That's what the kids like, right?
I couldn't tell you. You're the one with kids. You should know what the kids like.
No, but people like unboxing, like
Oh, okay.
online. There's people that just unbox stuff.
Hmm.
Feel like it's on brand for me.
Don't you need to like tap on it, right?
I don't have nails. I don't have nails.
I don't either, but
It's just a box. It's just a box. It's just a box. Man, this is weird. Looks like this is hard to get out. You might want to. It's not even a cat.
What is it?
I guess you can get a cow, or I guess you can get a cat or a cow. I got a cow.
Cute. It's just a little guy.
Just a
He's
little
having
guy.
a coffee.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know what's
cute.
going on. Yeah, it's having something there. Drinking his own milk.
That's weird.
No, it's a bull. I guess he's drinking some. I think it looks like he's drinking milk.
That's creepy.
Yeah, that's weird. So
I don't like that. That's very weird.
yeah, so I guess I could have gotten the cat. That's something I'm gonna have to think about.
Yeah, think about that. Let me know what you come up with.
I feel like what you're reading of middle-aged boat sinking through my blind box opening to be a cow drinking its own milk. I don't know what it all means. Have to see what Dream World reveals for me tonight.
I think it's a comment on our dystopian capitalistic society.
That
or
the
something.
cow's drinking
That's
its own
forced to
milk.
drink its own milk that it can't even produce because it's a boy.
Yeah, and it's like that, and then it has a little carton.
It has a stage? Is that a stage?
Has a stage. It has a stage.
So it's performing that it's drinking its own milk. I don't like this at all.
Yeah. Okay. No, but I think this is like perfect internet culture. Just like, it's like, I'm going to drink my own milk for the views.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to appreciate that someone designed this toy. It's too bad I didn't get the cat, but yeah, this is the world.
What kind of compromising situation would they have the cat in? Maybe it's better you didn't get the cat.
I mean, we could open one more. I mean, I have another box of like attack squirrels, but
I don't know.
maybe
I think
save that for next time.
Yeah, I think maybe it's better to just leave it on the weird cow note and just move on.
Rats.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good stuff.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast and discussing really everything from boat sinkings to cows drinking their own milk to CatBeats and cats and, meditation and Iceland and everything else that we talked about.
Yeah, I think in 10 years I'll have to be CatBeats.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Go more agriculture. Maybe I'll go back to agriculture and have to grow my own food and it's going to become CatBeats. I don't know.
It's cool.
Anything's possible.
You got 10 years to think about that. So, yeah. For now, it's the cats.
I'll stick with the cats, I think.
All right. Well, you have yourself a great evening. Hang on. Thanks so much for listening to the show. If you're looking for one-on-one support with behavior issues like litter box problems, aggression, anxiety, or multi-cat dynamics, you can find me through my behavior consulting business, Catitude Adjustment, at catitude-adjustment.com. If you like the episode, please consider leaving a rating or review. It really helps us grow. For more episodes, show notes, and resources, head to hissandtellpodcast.com. Huge thanks to CatBeats for the music, and I'll see you next time.